Now, during the pandemic, there were reports of widespread loneliness and distress due to isolation and lockdowns. Mental health took a setback globally, and Japan saw an exponential increase in suicides. Now, the Japanese parliament has enacted a bill into law to implement measures for supporting people experiencing social isolation and loneliness. The legislation will be in effect from April next year. A task force will also be created, headed by the Prime Minister, who will look over or oversee the implementation of measures and guidelines. The local government will set up groups offering aid to people suffering from isolation, and if someone is found breaching confidentiality, they will be jailed for a year with a fine of over $3,000. And according to the assessment conducted during the pandemic by Japan's Social and Health Department, loneliness was found to be the main reason behind suicides. A government survey in 2022 said 40.3% of all respondents over the age of 16 said that they had felt lonely, up 3.9% points from the previous year. And during the same year, in a bid to tackle suicide rates, Japan appointed a Japan Minister for Loneliness as well. The largest number of suicide deaths in Japan were reported among people in their 20s. Pandemic-related deaths accounted for about 30% of total suicides from that age group. And for the latest on this, our correspondent Chris Gilbert sent us this report.
Japan has a loneliness epidemic. In fact, there are several words here to describe different sectors of society which are affected by loneliness. There are the hitorigurashi, those who live alone for large parts of their life. There are the hikikomori, those who are self-defined shut-ins or recluses who do not even venture out to procure groceries. In fact, in a recent survey in November, 2% of the population, some 1.5 million people, defined themselves as some sort of shut-in or recluse. And now the government wants to look to extend help to these people. A new law enacted this week, coming into effect next year, is going to set up a task force to look into measures to do just that. It is going to make the government obliged to work with local councils, and then those local councils obliged to reach out to those in their community and try and offer new forms of support. What form of support exactly remains to be seen, but it is somewhat urgent after the COVID-19 pandemic.